Good morning, dear students. Welcome to online portal of Dr. APJ Abul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. I am Dr. Tarun Kumar Gupta, Associate Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering in GL Bajaj Institute of Technology and Management, Greater Noida. Today, I discuss the subject Power Plant Engineering. The code of this subject is KME 076. Today is our first lecture. We will discuss introduction to source of energy. Dear friends, first of all you must know what is energy. Some fact about energy. See, energy is the capacity of doing work, and you know very well that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but there is a lacuna. It can convert from one form to another form, and we are using this point that it can convert from one form to another form. See, joule is the unit of energy, but joule is very small unit. Some bigger units are kilojoule, megajoule, sometimes we can use gigajoule also. When energy is measured with respect to time, it is called power, as joule per second is the famous unit of the power, that is known as also known as watt. Larger units are kilowatt, megawatts, etc. In our household we are using energy, electrical energy, and the measurement of electrical energy is with the help of an electric meter, and the unit is kWh, kilowatt hour, means 1 kilowatt unit or 1 kilowatt energy, 1 kilowatt power is consumed in 1 hour. It is known as 1 unit of energy. I am discussing this because this subject is power plant engineering. So, you must know each and everything about the power. How can we classify the source of energy? Though there are many classification of source of energies like renewable, non-renewable, conventional, non-conventional, but as per our syllabus, we have to discuss the conventional source of energy and non-conventional source of energy too. What are the conventional source of energies? The source of energies which were used before the first energy crisis are known as conventional source of energy. Now, which source were used before the energy crisis, and what is energy crisis? So, the answer of first question: coal, oil, gas, hydropower, nuclear power, firewood, etc. were used before the energy crisis. And after the first energy crisis in 1973, solar, wind, tidal, geothermal, etc. were developed. So, what is energy crisis? In 1973, there was a war between Israel and some Gulf countries. So, at that time oil production countries stop supplying the oil to the countries which support the Israel. Due to this, the all of a sudden the price of oil will increase by 300%. At that time, the developed countries, American countries, European countries thought that there should be less dependent on oil production countries. So, they try to develop new source, and new source will be in at that time new source will be in the form of non conventional energy sources, solar, wind, tidal, geothermal. Let we know some more about these sources. The conventional energy sources, you can see coal. Coal is available in coal mines. Oil is available inside, also available inside the earth. Gas means natural gas. Natural gas is also available inside, deep inside the earth. Hydropower is available over the earth as well as inside the earth, but here whenever we are saying hydropower, so we are discussing the water available over the earth which is flowing over the earth. And nuclear fuel. See, out of these fuel, hydro energy is also in the renewable energy, because there is a hydro cycle. So, water can never be finished. It convert into steam, it convert into water, then it goes to the sea, it evaporate, then come back to the in the form of precipitates, in the form of snow, in the form of water. So, there is a hydro cycle. So, water cannot be finished, that is why water or hydropower comes under the renewable energy resources also. Now, we discuss about the coal. Whenever we are discussing about the coal, we know that how coal is formed. Coal is formed in the nature by dead plants when they buried inside the earth for millions of years, and they bear significant pressure as well as temperature. So, with the help of pressure and temperature, those plants convert into the coal. There are mainly 4 grade of the coals are available: anthracite, bituminous, lignite and peat. Some in between grades are available, like you can say semi bituminous coal. Out of these 4 types of the coal, the first category anthracite, first grade is anthracite, is most superior grade of the coal. Let me discuss something about these coals. First of all, anthracite. You can see anthracite coal is the highest grade of the coal. It is mostly used in igniting. It is very hard, black, glossy and natural smokeless coal. You can see this is the anthracite coal, and in this coal approximately 90% of carbon is there, approximately 90% is carbon. So, you can see there is very less content as well as there is very less moisture. So, whenever we are saying about the quality of the coal, we always think about the ash as well as moisture content. So, less moisture, less ash means high grade of the coal, more moisture, more ash means low quality of the coal. The second grade of the coal is bituminous. You can see second quality of the coal is bituminous. This coal is dense, black and most available coal. You can see this in the diagram, but still we are not using anthracite or bituminous in our power plant, because these are the costly coals. So, which plant is used in our power plants to generate the power? That is lignite. So, lignite is third grade of the coal. Lignite is brownish, black, low quality power coal, and it is used in power plants. So, what is the reason behind it? Though this coal is less quality, this coal has more moisture, this coal has more ash content, but still it is used in our power plant. So, we use this coal in pulverized form, means we convert the coal into powder form and then that powder form burn like a gas. So, low grade coal can be burned efficiently in the pulverized form. Next quality of the coal is peat. Peat is brownish color coal and having very low grade coal, and it burns like wood. You can see the color of the peat coal, it is like wood or something like cow dung. So, it has very high moisture content, it has very high ash content. So, this coal is very less available. Now, if we are talking about the oil, you know how oil is formed. Oil is formed when large quantity of animals buried under the rock, seabed or earth for crores of years. See, coal produced when plants buried for millions of years, but oil formed when animals buried for crores of years. In, if we are talking about the world, Saudi Arabia is most oil producing countries, followed by Iran, Canada, Iraq, right. So, most of the oil producing country form a group which is known as OPEC group, oil producing countries group. Canada is out of the OPEC group. Now, gas. We are talking about the gas. Gas is also known as natural gas. Gas is used in our automobile vehicles. Gas is used in our domestic purpose for cooking. Gas is also used in power plant as gas power plant. Gas is available in deep inside of the earth, and gas is very rich in hydrocarbon. Mainly gas is rich in methane. Now, if we are talking about hydro, I told you that hydro means water. Water is available in the nature in large quantity, in abundant quantity, free of cost. The most important two features, it is available in abundant quantity and it is available at free of cost. Now, I told you water is renewable energy resources, it can never be finished because there is a hydrograph, hydro cycle, water evaporate and comes into convert into the form of precipitate and then comes back to the earth. Again it is flowing from mountains to sea through rivers and other channels, it evaporates and then come back to the earth in the form of precipitation. So, I told you ki water can never be finished. It is available in large quantity as well as free of cost. The only problem is the storing of the water. So, how water can be stored? Sometimes there is a natural reservoirs are available. If natural reservoirs are available, then that water can be used in the power plant. But if natural reservoirs or natural storage of the water is not available, we construct a dam to store the water. See, whenever we want to generate the power from the water, we need the combination of these two things. The power generation is directly proportional to Q into H, where Q is the quantity of the water, H is the head means height of the water. So, if 250 meter, 350, 300 meter height is available, then less quantity of water can be used, but if height is less, then you know you require large quantity of the water. That is why we create the dam to increase this H, this head, we create the dam. So, when head is more, in that case quantity of water is less required. Also, when you are using dam, you are storing the water, that water can be used for various purpose, that water can be used for power plant, that water can be used for irrigation purpose, that water can be used for fisheries purpose and others, right. Now, if we are talking about worldwide, China is the leader, world leader. China is producing maximum hydro energy in the world, and if we are talking about the position of India, India is at 7th position in generating hydro power. You can see we are generating only, our designing capacity is only 13% of the total power generation. So, out of the various resources available for the power generation, we are only able to generate maximum 13% of our power from hydropower. Now, if we are talking about the nuclear energy, see, nuclear energy means the heavy materials whose nucleus can be break. So, here we are using high radioactive materials, and in most of the cases we are using uranium 235. Along with uranium 235 we can use some other metals like plutonium we can use, but uranium 235 is used mostly. In India, natural uranium is available, and the uranium is available in Mayurbhanj and Singhbhum district, but our out of the India we are using enriched uranium. We are using enriched uranium. Enriched uranium is that uranium in which the quantity of uranium 235 is more. In the natural uranium, the quantity of uranium 235 is only 0.787%. So, we have to increase this quantity. So, we are increasing this quantity of uranium by enriching. Enrichment is a costly process, it is not available in India. So, we are getting the uranium, but there is a limit that we cannot import more uranium, because there is a NSG nuclear supplier group which not allowed us to import more uranium. That is why we are not able to use more uranium or more nuclear power. In the nuclear, whenever we are using nuclear power, we have to replace boiler from thermal power plant to the nuclear reactor. So, nuclear reactor is a vessel, you can say, where actual chemical reactions takes place. Here chemical reactions takes place, and those chemical reactions, or you can say nuclear fission reactions or exothermic reactions, large quantity of heat is available, and that large quantity of heat is used to convert water into steam. Then that steam is allowed to pass over the turbine and it rotates the turbine, then electricity can be developed with the help of that turbine. Now, what is the need of using nuclear power or uranium? So, you can see 1 kilogram of uranium 235 can produce electrical power that can be produced by 4500 ton of high grade coal or 2000 ton of oil. Now, you can think about it that transportation storage of 1 kilogram of uranium against the transportation storage of 4500 ton of coal or 2000 ton of the oil. Also, whenever we are using nuclear power, we are using uranium. Uranium is required to fill in the nuclear reactor once in 6 months. एक बार आप फिल कर दीजिए यूरेनियम को एंड देन यू फॉरगेट फॉर 6 मंथ, इट विल प्रोड्यूस पावर फॉर 6 मंथ्स, बट इट इज़ नॉट इन केस ऑफ कोल और ऑयल. यू हैव टू सप्लाई कंटिन्यूसली कोल एंड ऑयल. अगर कोल और ऑयल थोड़ी देर के लिए भी ख़त्म हुआ तो पावर जनरेशन स्टॉप हो जाएगा. सो this is the additional benefit in using uranium. That's why we are saying that nuclear power is a clean power because there is no dust involved. Now we are talking about the non conventional energy resources. I told you that in case of energy crisis, when complete world was facing the problem of oil, then they thought about the new energy resources. The result comes in the form of solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy. Also, these all are the renewable energy resources because solar energy can never be finished. So, solar energy always collect from the sun. Wind energy can never be finished because wind is generated due to temperature difference. Tidal energy can never be finished. Tidal energy is generated due to gravitational attraction of earth, moon and sun. Geothermal, again geothermal energy cannot be finished because geothermal is the heat available inside the earth. So, these all these coined as non conventional energy resources as well as renewable energy resources. So, first of all we will discuss solar energy. Solar energy is obtained from the sun. You know that sun radiations comes on the earth. Now, if we are able to generate all the energy of the sun, then the total energy of the sun is available 17, total energy of the sun is available 17 gigabyte hour. If we are able to convert 1% of this energy, then the energy for the whole world, the energy requirement for the whole world can be complete. Means if we are able to convert 1% of the solar energy, then no need of using any other energy sources, but we are not able to convert. In the last 15 years, there is a great improvement in the using of the solar energy. We are using solar panels, solar photovoltaic panel, and nowadays you can see the solar photovoltaic cells on the roof of the mostly commercial buildings, on the petrol pumps, on the hospitals, on the schools, on the colleges, as well in the empty spaces. Initially, when solar energy was developed, it was used for cooking purpose, for heating purpose. Later on, it was used for the generation of the power, and solar thermal and solar photovoltaic, two options were generated. So, initially there was solar thermal power plant. In the solar thermal power plant, we collect the solar energy, we heat up some liquid or water and convert that into the steam. So, water or some liquid convert into the steam, that steam is allowed to pass over the turbine. That turbine rotate, a generator coupled to that turbine and then electric energy was generated. Later on, due to advancement in the technology, solar photovoltaic cell was generated, developed, and nowadays only solar photovoltaic cell is mounted on the roof or on the vacant space. When solar energy falls on the solar photovoltaic cell, it generated DC. Then we are using a inverter which convert DC into the AC. That AC supply can be used as the same as available from the various power plants. Now, next energy is the wind energy. You know, wind is generated due to temperature difference. In the plain area there is very less wind. So, In the plain area we are not using wind energy much more. So, wind energy is used in the coastal areas as well as in the desert areas or hilly areas, because in the hilly areas, in the coastal areas, in the desert areas, there is a there is air is blowing at large velocity. When air is blowing at large velocity, we called it wind energy. We collect the wind energy with the help of a windmill, right. Initially windmill was used just to run the flour mills, आटा पीसने के लिए यूज़ हुआ करती थी. Later on it is used to generate the power. So, when windmill is used, the RPM or the speed of windmill is very less. It is 10 to 15 RPM, means 10 to 15 revolutions per minute, but we connect a gear train which increase the speed of the output shaft or the gear train. That gear train is coupled to the generator, and generator rotate and it convert mechanical energy of the rotor or of the shaft into the electrical energy. By this way we generate the power. Now, if we are talking about the worldwide, China is the largest wind power producing country, followed by the USA. The position of India is third. India it has third position of the in generating the wind energy. Now, next is the tidal energy. See, tidal energy, you can say tidal energy is a type of micro hydropower plant, because in the tidal energy we are using water to generate the electricity. I told you that in the sea there are high tide as well as low tides, and high tide and low tides are produced due to gravitational interaction between earth, sun and the moon. Now, in high tide water is coming out from the sea, away from the center of the sea. In the low tide water is moving toward the center of the sea. The high tide and low tide, one cycle of high tide and low tide is approximately 12 hours 50 minutes, or in roughly you can say in a day of 24 hours there are 2 high tide, there are 2 low tide. So, when water comes outside from the sea, this water is collected in a pond, which may be natural pond or may be artificial created pond, right. That water is collected. Now, when there is a low tide, that water is allowed to move to the toward the center of the sea over a turbine. जो वाटर आपने पॉन्ड में कलेक्ट किया है, चाहे वो पॉन्ड नेचुरल हो या आर्टिफिशियल हो, उस पॉन्ड में से वाटर को एक टर्बाइन के ऊपर से क्रॉस करके हम सी में वापस जाने देते हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, टर्बाइन विल रोटेट. व्हेन टर्बाइन विल रोटेट मीन्स देयर इज मैकेनिकल एनर्जी and that turbine is coupled with a generator. So, mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy with the help of a generator. By this way we develop the energy, we develop the power. If we are talking about the world, South Korea is the leader in tidal energy, followed by France and UK. In India there is no such tidal energy power plant. Sites has been identified. One site has been identified in Gujarat, other in Bay of Bengal, and very soon we will be able to develop power from the tidal energy. Now, we are talking about the next, geothermal energy. See, geothermal is a combination of two words, one is geo, other is thermal. You know thermal means heat, geo means earth. So, it is the heat or energy presented inside the earth. You know very well that as we are going toward the core of the earth, the temperature of the earth will increase, and it is maximum at the core of the earth. Now, with the help of that heat, we want to generate power. How we can generate the power? We identify where more heat is available, where the hot rocks are available. So, we supply the water at the hot rocks. Due to that hot rocks, that water convert into the steam. That steam is collected and is allowed to run the steam turbines. In India, you can see various sites where hot water is available, various where steam is available. So, all that is due to the heat available inside the earth. If we are talking about the world, there are 5 countries: USA, Indonesia, Philippines, Turkey and New Zealand, which are generating geothermal energy, power from geothermal energy more than 1 gigawatt. So, they are in 1 gigawatt geothermal energy club. Out of these, US generate maximum energy, followed by Indonesia, Philippines, Turkey, New Zealand, right. So, this is the total about the non conventional energy resources. So, now this is our first lecture. I have tried to discuss more about the conventional and non conventional energy resources. Still, if there is any doubt, any question, we are ready to listen and we are ready to solve that questions. Thank you very much.